Joe from Manor Beach Running Club, and here's a few thoughts on the importance of sleep as part of your training. So getting enough sleep is not just important for your physical health, but also for your mental health, also for your quality of life and for your safety. So it's an important thing to think about when you're training or doing some trail running or doing some big events. Lack of sleep can be dangerous in an instant, such as a car crash or causing some kind of incident or event at work, but it can also really accrue over a long period of time and cause chronic illness over the long term as well. So in running circles, a lot of people look at sleep and see it as something that's a bit of a luxury. So they see it as something that only weak runners or people that haven't trained very hard need. And you'll often hear people say, he's an endurance athlete, he's a long distance runner, he's a long distance triathlete, and he doesn't need as much sleep because he's so fit. And this can be true, but it's not always true, and it's certainly not all the story. So many coaches will tell you that sleep is just as important as your training. And when you don't get enough sleep, it can build up like debt on a credit card, so it can accrue over a long period of time. So it can set off all sorts of different hormonal shifts in your body. It can raise your heart rate and sort of make you feel quite nervous and anxious. It can increase your cortisol levels, which increases your stress. And it's important to get that sleep also because of human growth hormone, which is secreted whilst you're in deep sleep. And the less sleep you get, the lower your levels and the slower your recovery. So it's really important to get that deep sleep so you can get rid of those aches and pains and improve your muscles' ability to store glycogen. So being sleep deprived doesn't just make you tired, it can make you jittery, achy, injury prone, not quite yourself, affect your mood. It's an important component of how you feel on a day-to-day basis and how you run. So runners know insomnia is very common the night before a race. Everyone knows that the night before your first marathon or your first half marathon, it can be really difficult to get some sleep. And there's a lot of evidence to show that we work in 48-hour cycles. So if you get good sleep 2 nights before, this can be really important and really contribute to a good race on the morning of race day. So for example, if you have a marathon on a Sunday morning and you sleep really well on Friday, but not so well on Saturday night, the night before your race, then you can still have the benefits of that good sleep on Friday and race well on Sunday. Although you will be shattered on Monday and it will obviously have to be paid back. So what does this mean for runners? It means to start sleep loading. You've heard about carb loading, you've heard about overloading your body in training. What we need to think about is sleep loading. So accumulating over a number of weeks during your program, especially during your taper, lots and lots of good sleep, getting that shut-eye, and making sure even if you get an extra half an hour, that's really going to help. My top tip for getting sleep is to treat yourself to a couple of extra hours if you can in the evening. So really look at the hours between 9 and 12 p.m. Those hours for me count double. So if I get to bed at 9 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. and I'm asleep, it really feels like the next day I've had 2 extra hours sleep. That 1 hour makes a massive difference. So get sleep loading. I hope this gives you a better, clearer idea of how important sleep is in your training, and happy running. Cheers. Bye.